Our guest will be MP Geoffrey Ruku from where? Mbeere North, right?
Yes.
As he comes, let me tell you this story of what's happening. My friend, Kimeumana. Kimeuma?
No.
Kimeumana. Key operations of the Senate, including committees, are stalling due to a devastating cash crunch. The revelations emerged even as senators put Speaker Amason Kingi on the spot over a 450 million shilling debt. Senate has a pending bill of 450 million shillings accumulated by the Senate, the bulk of it reportedly incurred by the Speaker's office.
Sorry.
There's an agitated senator who said, where did the Speaker go? What did he build or buy or warrant a spending of 450 million shillings? What? These questions must be answered. The lawmaker was questioning how the House accumulated the bills despite receiving its full allocation in the last financial year. So they got all the money last year. So they didn't spend 450 million shillings. Is pending. Anyway, the Star has established that several committees have ceased operations while the Senate Mashinani session for this year has been cancelled. Insiders also say that there have been occasional staff salary delays. In addition, the parliamentary leadership is planning to pull out of the East Africa Interparliamentary Games to be hosted in Kenya later in the year. Boni Khalwale, who is the majority whip, said, we are also debating changing our hosting of the EAC Parliamentary Games because it's also an expense. We are now toying with the idea of pulling out altogether so that another East Africa country can host it. Speaker Kingi did not respond to the inquiries by the newspaper on this subject. Senate Clerk and Parliamentary Service Commission CEO Jeremiah Nyegenye said the Speaker is the only right person to comment on such concerns. Inordinate delays by the National Treasury to release the funds, significantly budget cuts, and huge pending bills eating into the available budget have triggered this crisis. Khalwale said, there's a challenge. Committees are struggling. We are hoping that it will be unlocked. There's an unnecessary delay in the release of this fund. Minority Leader Stewart Madzayo confirmed the struggles, stating that the committees are on their knees. It's affecting the smooth running of the committees. The committees are deprived of money because they slashed the budget. So dire is the situation in the committees that some members have been forced to fundraise to cater for expenses in their county oversight tours. Senator anaomba muniwekee mafuta kama Morara Kebaso. Muniwekee mafuta ndio nikuje niangalie miradi ya Okoh County. Senator Morara Kebaso, same was up. Hey. Already, the Agriculture Committee, chaired by Kirinyaga Senator James Murango, has suspended its operations due to lack of funds.
Oh, okay.
The committee this Tuesday morning resolved to suspend its business until it's properly facilitated to execute its mandates. The panel, which handles a largely devolved function, cannot move across the country to meet farmers and conduct public participation. The committee believes in meeting the farmers in their counties. It had planned to conduct public participation in Kilifi, in Kwale, Lamu, Bungoma, Busia, Nyeri, and Kirinyaga counties. This is the chair of the committee, Senator Murango. The committee commenced public participation in Kwale County. However, due to budgetary constraints, it's yet to conclude public participation in the remaining counties. In the revised budget, following the withdrawal of the finance bill, after the Gen Z mass protest, the Senate's allocation was slashed by 600 million shillings from 8 billion to 7.4 billion shillings. Now, because of the lack of the 600 million, committees can't sit.
Okay, let me ask you.
Ask.
If the problem is that there is no money for sitting of committees, then work cannot continue, because in order for work to happen, committees must sit. Okay. So right now, Senate, in terms of oversight, will not work because of this. What is the problem as to why money is not reaching? Exchequer has not sent.
So, there are a couple of things here that Boni Khalwale is saying. That number one, there was the reduction of budgets, okay? But then on top of that, there is the delay in the disbursement of money from the National Treasury.
Yeah.
The money then that should come then to the Senate so that the Senate can facilitate its work. Unaona maneno vile iko? So now, because there is delay of the disbursement of funds, Now, hatuna pesa ya mafuta.
Okay. So we can't work.
So we can't really go to meet our farmers, for example, in these places. That's one. And so on and so forth. They were supposed to do Senate Mashinani. You know the way they do Senate Mashinani?
Yes.
So they're saying this year we have to cancel Senate Mashinani.
They did Turkana, they did Narok, they did...
We can't do Senate Mashinani this year. There's also now, matters of, like, they were to host the parliamentary games, okay, for the EAC. Now they can't host those parliamentary games because that's money.
Yeah, no.
And tuna pesa. So, who's the new member? Is it Somalia? Let Somalia host.
The most.
Are you saying that?
I'm seeing it, but I'm not liking it at all.
If you ask, this 7B that has been left, so it was 8.9, you've been left with some 7B. Ebu, are you saying that
7 billion is not enough for you to
no other way you can
done?
Reorganize your work so that you can actually do the work that you're supposed to do? Are you telling me that you have to continue paying for senators 30,000, 50,000 shillings to use the expressway?
People play too much, eh?
Remember, there's a senator, the deputy minority whip, Senator Sifuna said how much, even he was shocked.
He was shocked to look at his balance was 100 and something thousand.
Yeah.
Why?
For using the
expressway.
ETC on the expressway.
No.
If you cut back all those things, you won't tell me you can't find money.
You can't find some money
to
here
take
so
a
that you
committee
can
sitting.
Play too much. Play too much.
We joke, huh?
Yes.
We are jokers?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. A member of the National Assembly representing the people of Mbeere North is here. His name is Geoffrey Ruku. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good. You have a good name, Latiff.
It's a good name.
It's a good name.
And another name from West Africa.
I like the way you said. Please try.
Hindu.
Very good. Yeah. You've tried. But tell him, how do you say it?
Ndu. Yes.
Very nice name.
Thank you very much.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Have you been?
I've been quite okay.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. Communicating and talking to your people in Mbeere North and all?
Yes. We have been there. I came there on Monday. From Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'll be there tomorrow. Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Well,
that is the work.
that's the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Let me welcome you with the day's proverb. And this is courtesy of CT. So this week the proverbs are from Senegal. Okay? Today's proverb is very, very simple and direct and straightforward. The heart is not a knee that can be bent. The heart is not a knee that can be bent. What's your interpretation of that proverb?
We also have a similar interpretation, saying or a parable in our community, which says the heart is not a book that you can read. So I'm not sure whether they are related.
Maybe they are.
You can help.
What do you think? What do you think it's saying? What's the meaning of that one in Mbeere? The heart is not a book that can be read.
It means that whatever is in my heart is only me who knows.
Very good.
It's only me who knows that, and it's mostly used in politics because you can go find a crowd of 2,000 people, you talk to them very nicely, they clap, you sing and dance, and all of them agree that they vote you. In that polling station you go, after voting, you get 13 votes. And there are 2,000 people who agree. So you wonder what's really happening.
The heart is not a book that can be read.
Yes. So
that's a good one. So this one is about the heart is not a knee that can be bent. Yeah.
So probably it means whatever the heart has decided, you can't
change.
You can't change.
It's rigid, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also we say the heart, so in our Mbeere language, the heart eats what it likes. So it doesn't eat anything that it doesn't like. When the heart says we are going to eat this, I'm going to eat this, that's
hiyo
what.
ndio itakula kipendacho roho nyama.
Yes.
Okay. Now there's a lot that's happening in this country.
Yes.
Yeah? The headline in the Standard today He's talking about this.
Impeachment.
Staring at an impeachment. Okay?
Yes.
It says that MPs are saying the motion to remove the deputy president is ready and it has garnered the requisite support from members to meet the threshold.
Yes.
There's a split on who will lead this onslaught, with some pointing at the opposition through Junet and others saying it should be Kimani Ichung'wah. The impeachment motion against Gachagua could be tabled in parliament anytime now, with reports suggesting it's ready. Ruto allies say the signatures are coming in fast and furious. There are 116 lawmakers who have signed. It may be tabled before the president returns from the US trip. This is not the first time that the country is witnessing threats to have its deputy impeached, as DP Ruto faced a similar threat when he fell out with President Kenyatta. So number one, 116 lawmakers have reportedly signed that motion. Are you one of them?
It's a good question. Very good question.
With a simple answer.
The details of impeachment motions are not out yet, but I can confirm, yes, there will be impeachment motion. Whether it will succeed on the floor of the House or not, as another business altogether. Whether it will succeed in Senate or not, that's a different story. But the way things are, it seems that there will be an impeachment motion against the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Yes.
Do you know the grounds?
No, I don't know the grounds.
Like what is, we hear there have been meetings, and there's been talk in the corridors of Parliament and elsewhere where you people meet and have chai. What is it that the beef is? What's the beef with the Deputy President? And remember, there's a constitutional threshold. This is what constitutes the grounds for the removal of a Deputy President.
I think there are many things that have gone wrong from the time the Deputy President was sworn in, and also the President was sworn in as the principal assistant to the President as far as the Constitution stipulates. And presidency as a symbol of national unity. I think the office of the Deputy President has not been espousing that symbol of national unity because it's a double ticket. I think from the time the Deputy President championed that Kenya is a shareholding entity, to moving forward to be very obsessed with Mount Kenya politics, and even when going outside the Mount Kenya region to say in Nyanza, in Western, you go and say bring the greeting from Mount Kenya. As a Deputy President, you are not elected for Mount Kenya people. You are elected for the people of Lamu, for people of Nyanza, Kisii, Northeastern, everywhere. You bring the greetings of every Kenyan because you are not a governor. You are not a member of parliament. I can bring the greetings of the people of Mbeere North because that is my jurisdiction. I'm a small man. I'm at that level. But when you are Deputy President of the Republic, when you're President of Kenya, imagine seeing the President of Kenya is talking every day about Rift Valley people. So there are all those issues to issues which have gone to some selfish issues. But when the time comes, I think we'll all of us be able to see the grounds. It's a very lengthy legal process. It's not a simple process which you wake up and do the signatures, go to Parliament and pass the impeachment motion, and then no. It's a lengthy legal constitutional process, and the grounds must be very, very watertight. So this is something which must stand the test of time, even within the judicial, the justice administration system of the Republic of Kenya. So I hope in the coming days, every Kenyan will be able to see, me included. But I've just told you what I'm getting to hear on the corridors of Parliament.
That there's a motion coming.
Yes, there's a motion coming.
Yeah. Would you need to go back to your people to ask them, this is what has been brought to the House, and because you participated in electing this national leader, that all of you, all 290 of you, need to go back to your people and ask, do you agree that this person needs to vacate office?
I think public participation is a key. It's at the center of our Constitution. The centrality of our Constitution is public participation. But at the same time, members of Parliament, one of the roles of members of Parliament is to conduct the impeachment process of the President and the Deputy President, or the Presidency, whoever occupying that office. So we have a constitutional mandate to carry that kind of a process. So when you are elected not only to do the representation, to do the oversight and budgeting process, but also one of the mandate in the Constitution of Kenya is to carry an impeachment process in case there comes a time or a need for such kind of a process.
No, I'm not asking about public participation as, structured in Parliament. You, as Geoffrey Ruku, will you go back to your people of Mbeere and sit down with them? Or even now, as you're going back, you are there over the weekend, you'll be going back later. When you're sitting down with the people, is the sentiment the same? Sentiment that you've just expressed here, he's been talking about Mount Kenya too much. Are the Mbeere people saying the same thing? Actually,
Mbeere people are very, very much annoyed to be rammed together as Mount Kenyan people. Because Mbeere are not Kikuyu. Mbeere are not... we have our own customs and traditions.
You have your own identity.
Which are different, okay? And we have been marginalized for years. For many years, we have been marginalized as people of Mbeere. If you want to know a place where we have very poor roads, it's Mbeere.
Yeah.
If you want to know a place where there's no water, domestic water, household water, it's Mbeere. Electricity connectivity, penetration is minimal. The other day I went to a school which has very dilapidated manned classrooms. And I took those photos, they circulated in social media, and Kenyans were annoyed that there's such a school somewhere in the Republic of Kenya. There are several such schools in Mbeere North.
So bottom line, the people of Mbeere don't really give a hoot about this politics of impeachment or not. What they want is service.
They're more concerned with other things.
Yes.
And can we not extrapolate that to the rest of the country? That right now what we're looking at is that we have members of Parliament who are drawn on different sides, and the talk right now is to impeach or not to impeach the Deputy President, whereby we have schools that are supposed to exist that don't. We have lack of proper road infrastructure that needs to be paid attention to.
Correct.
That there is a healthcare crisis, there is an education crisis. Throw a stone, it will land on something that's a problem that the House of Parliament actually should be paying attention to. Do you think this is all a waste of time, this impeachment business?
At the same time, if you are given an office and you are not talking about how you're going to bring construction of roads, tarmacking of our roads. In Mbeere we have about 38 kilometers of road, of tarmacked road, as a constituency. We have 684 villages with no electricity from the time the world was created. So I want to hear anyone who has occupied a senior office in the Republic of Kenya, whether president or deputy president, coming up with programs on how Mbeere can be electrified. Visible program, not empty promises. How we can get extra tarmac of road. How we can get water from Mount Kenya forest and come all the way to within our rivers, because also we have some rivers passing by our area. How we can get a huge dam for irrigation of our area. So I need to hear more about. In any case, this is why I was elected as a member of parliament. But now, if you want to draw me each and every day to politics, of if you are not supporting me as Mulima, I will ensure you're not elected. If you are not, we are not talking about the issues of the people. We are talking about our own issues, how we can have these huge positions. These huge positions have no consequence, no importance, if we are not looking at the needs of the people who sent us to these offices.
Okay.
So for me, I think if you look at...
So really,
yes,
the job of the deputy president, as has been assigned by the president through executive order, right, is to chair cabinet committees.
Yes.
Is to handle coordination with donors.
Yes.
Is to handle coordination with the counties and the subnational level. Is that right? And you
also the issue of coffee
and tea, right?
Illicit brews.
You as a member of parliament, your job is to raise the issues of the people of Mbeere, bring them to the National Assembly, right?
Yes.
Canvass other members of parliament so that they can say, yes, let's allocate more funds into these areas, into, for example, provision of electricity, of water, of expansion of tarmac roads, and so on and so forth, right? Make sure that such is what goes into the budget, and then it's implemented, right?
Yes. Not to canvass other members, is to rope it with the executive. Because the budget...
But you need the support of the other members so that it can be passed. That's why I'm saying you've got to lobby the other members so that then it's passed in the budget, in the appropriations, it's passed in the budget, and then now you go to the executive and you oversight. It's in the budget, implement.
There's a twist somewhere.
There's a twist.
The budget is an executive document. It comes from the presidency. It's the cabinet which sits and agrees on how to craft the budget, then bring to the committee of the budget. Of course, there's why the executive is because the minister bring the proposals to the committee. If it's the Minister of Tourism, for instance, bring the proposals of the budget to the Departmental Committee of Tourism. So who is bringing? The minister. The minister sits in the cabinet.
Proposes.
Okay? So they must have agreed at the cabinet that this is what we really want to ensure it is done.
Yes.
Then they bring it to Departmental Committee of Tourism. We agree on it. If I'm a member of Tourism Committee, then the chairman of the Tourism Committee forward the proposals to the Budget Committee.
Yeah.
Then they agree at that level, Budget Committee. There is a lot of consultation with the Treasury on these budget issues, because the Treasury has to say, Jamani, this is what we have. This is the amount of money which you have. You can put all these figures, huge figures here. They will not work. We are estimating to collect this amount of money in the next financial year. So these figures you are giving me, not possible. Remove this and that and that and that. Remain only with this. This is what we can afford as Treasury. So there is a lot of consultation going on with the Treasury. Now, the minister in charge of Treasury, of course, they are consulting with the president.
Yes.
As far as the budget process, budgeting process is concerned.
Yes.
So once all that is agreed, but also there are constitutional timelines, then it is tabled in
then
Parliament.
that's when it's tabled.
To pass.
Okay.
But also remember, there are supplementary budgets.
Yes.
These supplementary budgets come now and then, depending on the situation. So you can agree on a project in the main budget, but is removed in the supplementary budget and reallocated to other money, reallocated to
other needs and functions.
Other needs, you know. So you really need to canvass. You really need to convince the executive.
The work of lobbying is big.
Is huge.
Yes.
Okay. As
But
far as
also,
some of these
Mheshimiwa,
projects are concerned.
there's also something else that's happening in this whole process.
Yes.
Okay? It is only with the approval of Parliament that whatever amount is allocated to whatever function
Yes.
will go.
Yes.
Only with the approval of Parliament.
Correct.
When the National Treasury or the executive brings its proposals to Parliament, they are exactly that. They are proposals.
Yes.
And they have got to go to the various departmental committees or sectoral committees
Correct.
to defend those proposals.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And those committees have the power to move around and say, we do not think that you need X amount of money. For example, you're saying you want to put X amount of money for insemination of donkeys. No. Inseminate zebras instead. Right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And so the parliamentary committee can do that.
Yes.
If you lobby that committee that is in charge of water, they can go and say, there has been money that has been put here. We propose that it goes here. And it goes to Dende Nyoro's Committee of Budgets with the same justification. Let it go because Mbeere has never had a drop of water in this particular village that is piped. It goes. So that's where the lobbying of your fellow parliamentarians comes in.
Yes.
So that if they agree, they can change what has come from there and go your way. And once it's passed, now it's your job again to push.
Yes.
So you see, the job of a parliamentarian is so much and busy that talking about kingpins is really somebody who has finished the other jobs to start thinking about whether we should go Mount Kenya East, Mount Kenya West, or Mount Kenya Central. True?
I mean, I think I'm coming from a place where I think there's so much to be done, and I'm taking this off of what you yourself have said, Mheshimiwa, this morning, just giving the example of schools. So I'm hard pressed to understand where we can possibly find the time to be discussing these, which in my mind are mundane politics, when there's so much work to do. Or are we saying that it is absolutely necessary to have these political discussions when there's so much to do?
This political discussion is very important because the allocation of resources is a political process. Remember, in Ernst Morgenthau's book, Politics Among Nations of 1979, defined politics as allocation of resources authoritatively. For those who have done political science or international studies, would definitely have come across the book Politics Among Nations.
Of Nations.
So politics is nothing else other than allocation of resources, and these resources are not only allocated but allocated authoritatively, without asking questions. You can't ask questions why this road has been tarmac and not the other. It's a political process. So if you have a political environment which is not favorable to allocation of resources, then you have to create a favorable political environment to ensure resources are allocated. And as far as we are concerned, we are almost missing that favorable political environment for resources allocations. And if the people of Mbeere will not be allocated their due resources because of unfavorable political environment, who is to blame? I'll be blamed by the people of Mbeere North in a serious way. So I have to participate in that process, which will ensure indeed there is a favorable political environment to the people of Mbeere for their resources to reach them.
Was there a favorable political environment in June last year?
This has been snowballing, going downhill gradually. And I think now it's not further tenable for things to move the way they are.
How has it affected
some actions
you in your work as an MP? How has it affected the work of Parliament that the Deputy President, like you said, calls this a shareholder government or whatever he says, his rhetoric in public? How has the Deputy President's public rhetoric affected the work of Parliament?
Today, Wandai is not a member of parliament. He is a cabinet executive. We have an empty seat in people of Wandai's constituency. What's the name?
Ugenya.
I don't know.
Ugunja. Yeah.
At the moment, they don't have a member of parliament. Correct?
This is because?
This is because of political environment of the Republic of Kenya. Today,
is it because of the DP?
Today, all these matters are culminating to all those kind of things. We have seen...
it is because of the DP that...
I'm not saying it's because
we have a broad-based government.
I'm talking about political environment.
Okay.
Political environment as external and internal. For those who have also done strategic management, anybody who have sat in a class of strategy will know the issues on environment, when you're talking about the business environment, is both external and internal. When I'm talking about political environment, is both external environment, not within parliament, and also internal within parliament. So today we have a half of cabinet which went home. Today we have ODM ministers. We have Joe as a minister. We have Oparanya as a minister. We have Bandi and Pio as ministers. Well, how did it happen? How did we get there?
I'm failing to connect.
Kenya Kwanza administration.
I'm failing to connect the incompetence of the executive, because that's what you're saying.
No. What's happening is
whatever has happened in the executive, that it has become so muddled in its own issues. How has it affected the institution of the legislature?
What happened?
Because all those things are happening at the executive.
What happened is, as the President of the Republic of Kenya felt the need to bring in other partners in his government, because there is someone who is threatening him on a day-to-day basis that is going to carry a region away from government.
Ruku, that is the executive, right?
And the executive
arm of government,
the executive
is having its own implosion. If the executive arm of government is imploding, how does that affect the job of? How is it impacting the legislature? Are you saying that the legislature has been unable, for example, to pass laws because the executive is imploding? Or are you saying that the legislature has been unable to oversight the executive because the executive is imploding?
Within the legislature, there is a leader of government business. Why do we have a leader of government business?
He's a leader of majority.
Why do we have a leader of government business in parliament?
He's a leader of majority.
It is because government is formed by the majority.
Not always.
Listen, there are three.
Not always, Mheshimiwa.
Okay, let me explain my point.
If the hanky-panky had not happened in September 2022,
let me explain
the majority would be Azimio.
Let me explain my point. We have three arms of government which are independent and interdependent. They have to work in tandem. The executive has its own bills in parliament, which are brought by the leader majority, and which move even faster than private members' bills, which are fast-tracked. So you cannot de-ring the legislature from the executive. Because the ministers, we have seen ministers coming to parliament now and again to answer questions, to reply to different concern of different constituencies in the Republic. Why do we have ministers coming to parliament and they are not part of parliament? It's because they have to continue working together. So the thing is, if the executive is not creating an empowering environment for a legislature to work, then some issues have to be done.
Okay, so here's my point, and in the form of a question and a point at the same time.
Yep.
You have an executive arm of government that is headed by the head of government, his deputy, the cabinet, and then the others follow. You've got parliament that has its own leadership structure.
Yes.
From the speaker, leaders of majority, minority, and the others that lead the business of parliament. And you have the judiciary that is headed by the chief justice. Okay? Now, these are three arms of government. Your job is to oversight the others and to represent the people and to create laws and ensure that the laws are implemented properly. Okay? Now, if the executive arm of government is, I want to use those words again, imploding, why are you becoming a doctor and going there to the executive to find out what the problem is, and let's try and solve the problem in the executive, and we have identified that the problem is not the head, it is the shoulder. Let's remove the shoulder.
neck.
Why are you dealing with the problems of the executive? Your job is to oversight it. If the executive is not functioning, you go to the people and say, this executive is not functioning. You don't come and tell us the knee of the executive is not moving. Make sure the thing moves.
Let me tell you, Latiff, the budgetary process and local politics go hand in hand.
Okay.
The budgetary process or the resources allocation process. And I told you, politics is defined as allocation of resources authoritatively. They go hand in hand with the local politics.
Okay.
So the point is we are not going to fail the people who elected us because the executive has decided they can't work in a certain environment. We have to come up with ways of ensuring there is conducive environment for the people of Kenya so that resources can be allocated and people can be able to get what they need. Why should, as a member of parliament, why should I sit and see executive allocating resources to cost people because now cost people are in government and my people of Mbeere get nothing? Why should I sit and wait for that to happen?
So are you going to impeach the cost CS?
Not impeaching the cost, yes.
That's my point.
Is creating a political environment.
Your job in parliament
is creating a political environment which suits the resources for my people to get those resources.
Okay, Mheshimiwa, if you could.
I don't know why you
please
can't
help
get these.
me- no, maybe you can help me connect the dots here, and maybe it could make a little bit more sense. Here we are looking at a situation whereby the public, from at least the political angle, has been that for whatever reason the deputy president has to go. There it is. It's clear out. I mean, look at what the headlines are saying. That's obvious. But you're also saying that in as much as it shouldn't concern members of parliament because you have work to do, the allocation of resources is very important for this kind of work to continue. Are we, however, seeing that this particular implosion in the presidency has something directly to do with the allocation of resources to build a school in Mbeere North, for example, or to build one in somewhere in the middle of Kilifi? Is there a direct relation between what is happening with the deputy president and the allocation of resources where people, members of parliament, will or will not give their signature?
I think by the mid next week, why the impeachment? That question will be answered. Probably you call me end of next week to come and answer clearly why the impeachment. We are not yet there. If there is impeachment, as this headline says, and as I'm getting to hear along the corridors of Parliament, then there will be substantive
grounds for it.
For it.
Okay.
And we will come here and discuss those substantive grounds. But for now, what I'm saying, Latiff, is politics is defined as allocation of resources authoritatively. I don't understand up to now why I represent a constituency where there is no water connectivity in our household, why electricity is not connected, and we have even
It's
dams
not so far from where
it is generated.
the country's electricity is generated.
Yes. Why we have 40 kilometers of road tarmac in a constituency which is 771 square kilometers. So as I interrogate those questions, as I try to tell the necessary or the appropriate departmental committees and the ministries and the president that this is the situation of my people, I have to ensure I have favorable political environment, conducive environment.
I actually agree with you, Mheshimiwa. I think there's a lot of work that should be done. I think there's a lot of work that's pending that ought to be done. And I think there's a lot of nonchalance when it comes to having that work actually done. Beyond that, I actually think that a lot of the attention that's being paid to, this politics can actually be diverted to something else. And that if from the very beginning, those who have the power to make the law, they also deal with the approval for the allocation of these resources, whether you're on the right political side or not. I think that too much energy is being put into things that don't matter. Because the truth of the matter is, let's say today that the deputy president is impeached. Let's say he's impeached. Will that automatically lead to that school that you're talking about in Mbeere North being constructed? Yes. We
have seen what the unity of nation of the country, it is extremely important. Without unity of the country, even the businesses we are talking about, even the building we are seeing in this city, all of them will come to nothing. First and foremost, even without roads in my constituency, without water in my constituency, this nation has to hold together as a nation, as a country. And if there is any element which is threatening that the nation cannot hold, the state cannot hold as a state, then it must be dealt with. Latiff, when we had these issues, we saw executive or cabinet, half of it went home. Security was reorganized.
Yes.
Even military was reorganized.
Yes.
Probably it's high time also to reorganize presidency.
To what? Oh my, okay.
Probably it's high time to reorganize presidency.
Okay.
For the unity
of the country.
Of the not even
of the state.
Of the state. Because government can go, state will remain. Government will come and go, but state will remain.
There are actually people who agree with you. And they've said impeach them both.
They came together, they go together.
Let's reorganize the presidency. The same way the cabinet was all of them sent home. Send these two both home. Let them seek a fresh mandate. Among other people.
It is an option. It is an option. It's a political option. Let it be tabled for consideration.
However, are you telling me that when you go back to Mbeere tomorrow and you meet that woman who's carrying mutungis of water and on the other hand she's carrying a kibuyu of paraffin and she's walking on a very dusty road, you'll tell her that, you know what, the reason we are still like this 60 years after independence, right? So many years after you were born and brought up in Mbeere and now you are representing them, it's still the same way. It's because Okoh, the presidency, has issues.
First of all, Latiff, I want to thank all those who represented the people of Mbeere in the past for their service. They represented the people of Mbeere in different political environment, different presidencies. There are those who are representing the people of Mbeere during Jomo Kenyatta. There are those who are representing during Moi. They were experiencing different circumstances then, even during Mwai Kibaki, even during Uhuru Kenyatta. They were experiencing different circumstances with the one which we have at the moment.
Yes.
I have only served for 2 years as a member of parliament from Mbeere North.
And your circumstances regarding Gachagua?
My circumstances are completely different with those who are serving in the previous administrations. What I'm saying to them is that thank you for your service. You did what you could have been able to do.
Those are them.
At that particular time.
This woman that you meet on the
Now,
road.
for me, I have 2 years which I have served as a member of parliament. I have my realities which I have seen and how resources are allocated. You know, how the system is. Some people may want to say the system is rigged. Some people, as they say in the United States of America, you hear Trump saying again and again, the system is rigged, the system is corrupt, the system is this and that. Also in this nation, we have a system which is there in place. And probably for you to change the system, you may take more than probably 30 years. Latiff, to build a president, to build someone who can be a president of the Republic of Kenya, it will not take less than 20 years. It's a 20-year
That woman
term.
in Mbeere.
I'm coming to your answer. I'm coming to answer your question.
It's 40 seconds to the top of the hour.
You know, it will take almost 20 years to build someone who can be a president. The person who is in Mbeere, she has been taken for granted for 30 years, and for 60 years. Why? We are armed as Mount Kenya people. When we have Keno Marwa Road, the executive knows
Mount Kenya is
Mount
sorted.
Kenya is sorted. When we have Keno Moranga Road, Mount Kenya is sorted. When we have Karimeno Dam in Kiambu, Mount Kenya is sorted. When we have Dhipan Dam in Kirinyaga, Mount Kenya is sorted. So I need to raise my voice and say, gentlemen, please.
Mbeere is not Mount Kenya.
Mbeere is not sorted. When we have Dhipa, we need Kamumo Dam for us to be sorted.
We've exhausted the hour. Thank you for joining us today. We'll invite you again.
No.
Imagine.
It flies like that. The Honorable Geoffrey Ruku is the Member of Parliament from Mbeere North.
You can add 10 minutes.
We asked you to send a message to the person in Mbeere, you didn't.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.